Hey everyone, my name is Zach. I'm a 22-year-old competitive boulderer from Canada, currently living near Frankfurt, Germany. Welcome back to the COMPCLIMB training series, where I record all of my training, provide in-depth analysis of every session, and just chat about climbing with an emphasis on competition. If you enjoy the series, consider leaving a like on the video and subscribing to the channel. It really helps out a ton. And as you can see, we are doing a bit of a fast-forward jump since the last episode. The last episode we were climbing at Bloc. And so that was, the last couple episodes we were climbing at Bloc and Beta Bloc in Montreal. And those were like kind of the last training days I had before the Jackalope. And then following the Jackalope, I had just like some fun sessions in my home near Toronto. I met up with some friends, just had like some kind of hang around sessions, no agenda, no training, and thus no training series to record. And then following those 3 sessions where I was kind of just having some fun, we had a rest week. So we had a 6-day rest week. So this is my first day training back in 10 days or something since Jackalope. And now we're back with the series. Jackalope went well. So the Jackalope video came out like a couple weeks ago at this point. I decided to release the Jackalope episode like right after the event happened. I just took me a couple days to make it, and I released it right away just because it was kind of surrounding the hype of the event, and I thought that was a better time to release it rather than chronologically. So if you are new to the channel or you want some context since the last episode, you should go check out the Jackalope video. I'll put that in the description. And then, so following the Jackalope video, we had, some mess around sessions, rest week, and then now we're here, back in Germany. So yesterday, at this point, Maddie and I had traveled all day, flown from Montreal over here to Frankfurt. Flown from Toronto over here to Frankfurt. And this was our first day back. And normally what I like to do with my training is I'll give myself kind of a cushion day. So I have a bit of an easier session before I work my way into the program. So today isn't quite exactly what the program was going to be. What I do is with the program, I'll have my week block will repeat however many times the cycle is. But this day is kind of an exception. We have 2 boulder sessions on the schedule for today, which isn't what is going to be our normal day 1. But just regular bouldering allows my body to work off the jet lag and get back into the swing of things. Like today, we were supposed to go train on the spray wall if it was to follow the program exactly, but that's not what I want to do on my first session after the plane ride. And normally, what happens after a day of travel, especially a 6-hour time zone shift, and a very little sleep during the travel day at that as well, is I will feel like garbage. But today was crazy, man. This was probably my best feeling day after rest week ever. I felt fine. It was insane. I just felt like it was a normal training day. And this boulder we were trying here, the 7, me and Maddie had tried on the day that we were leaving Germany. Remember the day that I said I wasn't going to record, it was just kind of a mess around day. We were supposed to have a collaboration, but that had to get rescheduled with another YouTube channel. Me and Maddie were trying that boulder and we couldn't do it. And I was really struggling with that middle part. I mean, as you can see, I found some new beta where instead of trying to take that really hard foot cut between those 2 volumes, I realized I could just jump for the finish, and I was wasting my time trying that way harder beta a bunch. But still, I felt just as good as I did on that day, and that was as we were feeling super good, ready to go and compete. And this was after this is coming off of 6 days of rest, time zone change, and even some mess around sessions. So I was very surprised to be able to climb very normally today. I had a pretty great feeling session, and it's actually so we did 2 sessions today of bouldering, and I was actually able to clear every boulder in the gym except for 2. I was going to say except for 1, but no, that's not true. There's an outdoor boulder on the outdoor wall, some physical crimps that I didn't get on. I forgot to get on that. But it was crazy. I managed to clear everything in the gym except for a couple boulders, which was obviously not what I was expecting. But there is a very good, a bright side to that. This next training cycle that we're going into, since we're quite a ways out from nationals, I'm going to take the opportunity to train a lot of spray wall and a lot of physical training. We're going to train some power. We're going to train some maximum strength and power. And that's just because this is kind of the period of time. This is how far out from a competition I want to be training that sort of stuff. And so anyway, the point is it's super nice that I actually managed to do almost everything in the gym so that I don't have to be training on the spray wall this whole time and kind of being oh God, I want to go try the boulders at Studio Bloc. I managed to take a bunch of them down. That being said, though, we're going to be working in some some other sessions, or some boulder sessions in between like all the spray wall and the canvassing that we're going to be doing. But definitely these next like sort of 3 weeks are going to be focused on spray wall and canvassing. And so I mentioned this before. I have a link to the program in the description. It's in the description of every video. If you want to like just check out the program more in depth, I have it linked. It's a PDF and I update it pretty frequently, kind of frequently, maybe every couple weeks or something. And then actually, currently, at this point in time, I just got a comment like kind of asking like for some explanation on like the abbreviations that you see that I use in my training program. And I realized that like I'm just so used to these abbreviations, I kind of forget that everybody else isn't. So I went and I updated, like you probably noticed it at the beginning of this video and I just kind of showed like the snippet of the day. But if you go and you check out the program in the description now, I have a legend. I added a legend for everything. So what I did is every training cycle, there's a legend at the top of it explaining the abbreviations that you need to know for that cycle, like all of the exercises and whatnot that are relevant for that cycle. That way the program actually can make some sense. Now that I kind of am realizing that I had just a mega brain fart, and anybody that doesn't know those abbreviations kind of just has to go like study the videos in order to see what the exercises are, which can be tedious. And if you just kind of want to look at the program, I guess it really didn't make any sense at all. So hopefully now it makes sense, and you can see what we're doing and you can see what's coming up. We're going to be doing some a couple new things for this training cycle that we haven't done in the past. I think more so on the strength side, so I'll talk about those in tomorrow's episode when we go and do some of them. Let's talk about what's happening now, which is this 7 here. This one is a new set on the comp wall. They had a lot of new boulders set up in the gym, so I was very excited. And it was also kind of nice and relieving to be feeling good, so I can go and try all these like pretty in depth. And this boulder that we're trying here is probably the hardest one of the day. This definitely took me the most tries to send, and it's kind of just a swing jump, as you can see. And normally I'm like okay at this style. Like I'm not so good at the running and the jumping, but like the swing jumps like this, I find them okay. And you notice that we flashed a bolt, like the last boulder of Jackalope, we flashed, which was this kind of move where you swing, jump, step, and then go into dyno. We flashed it for the win. And actually, in the Jackalope video, if you remember, I mentioned how Maddie and I didn't know the results. Actually, one of the organizers of the event saw the video and messaged me and like said, hey, I saw your video and I saw that you guys didn't know the results, and so he gave them to me. And it turns out that I needed to flash that boulder to win. I only beat Charlie by 1 attempt. I had no idea about that. And meanwhile, I'm walking up to the last boulder being like, I think I'm the only one that did problem 3. I just need to top this. I can try it a million times if I want. And I guess that mindset really helped out because I needed to flash that pretty low percentage first move in order to secure the win. And as you can see, like that kind of move is not necessarily my forte, which is evident by this boulder that we're trying here, where I'm just taking a bunch of tries to do it. That being said, though, this move is really hard. The holds that you're jumping to aren't the best. The sloper on the right is not amazing. It's kind of got a groove at it, but you're also coming at it from a weird angle, and this wall is overhung. And the foothold you're hitting is small. A lot of little elements actually make this move really hard. And I don't end up sending it in this session. I tried a bunch of times. I think that was my closest try of the day. And I ended up sending it in the second session. But I was learning a lot about this move. Holy cow, I was learning so much. So I kind of like almost built like a whole step-by-step tutorial for myself on how to do this move. So basically, first I start with this. On that kind of move, what I do is I start from a hang, I kick up way above my head for one swing, and then I swing back, I swing forward, and then I swing back again, and then I go. Maybe, you know what, what I'll do is I'll talk about this boulder again when we try it in the second session, and I'll kind of break down the movements that I was learning for myself. They were really helpful, and I think trying that boulder a lot was actually super helpful, and I think that I have a way better understanding of how that swing move works and how I can approach it in future like events and whatnot. Also, I tried that so many times. I was getting jug rash like big time on my the bottom of my pads, like here, just from swinging on the jugs a bunch. It's almost like what you get from a pull-up bar. So I had to I said I can't try this anymore, even though I had a bit more time in this session, because I'm gonna get a flapper like any second now. And even going in the second session, I knew I could probably only put like 3 or 4 or 5 maybe max tries on it before I pull a flapper. And it would suck too, because it's going to be a while before we try this boulder again, because we're going to be focusing on spare wall. But I managed to send it in the second session, which was cool. And then here we're trying the last boulder of the session, a tricky slab. This one ended up being really cool. You'll notice later in this attempt, I actually missed that second last hold. Around the corner, it's actually kind of blind. And see, I'm grabbing this hold, which is way worse. And actually, I kind of forget that there's a hold higher. And I realize it later on as I'm struggling. I'm going to fall, and then I see it, and I save myself, which is kind of nice. But yeah, I sent a bunch of boulders in the session. I was feeling good, super relieving. And then I was motivated going into session 2 to just do a bunch more boulders. And speaking of which, we will be back for session 2 after we do today's sponsor highlight. Today we're highlighting Climbers Rock, one of our title sponsors for the COMPCLIMB series. If you're looking for the best climbing facility in the Toronto area, CR is your place to go. The 25,000 square foot facility features 2 large boulder sections, 80 rope stations, 12 auto belays, a dedicated youth bouldering area, and a training room fitted with all the equipment a climber could want. Our head setter Jamie spearheads an extremely psyched setting crew who are putting up 5-star boulders and routes every day of the week. They put up a great blend of classic commercial style climbs with comp style routes and boulders mixed in as well. Climbers Rock is a must visit if you live or find yourself in Burlington, Ontario. So as you may be noticing, we have session 2 in the same video as session 1. What I've been doing for the past maybe month or so is breaking up kind of the training days where we have 2 boulder sessions in a row, because what had been happening to me is I've been doing all this off my phone. So I have like I record everything on my phone, I edit it all together, and it's a pretty decent phone, but it's not powerful enough to export videos like at 4K 60 frame. Well, actually, I was doing 4K at 30 frames per second. It was really having trouble exporting things at like above 14 minutes was kind of like the sweet spot. And so I like with the longer videos, sometimes it would like export to 80% and like fail. And then I would have to be like, oh, I got to export it. Now I got to try like 4K at 26 frames per second or something. And it was a pain in the butt. And some of the videos, like you notice like sometimes we would be dropping some frames, and that's just because my phone couldn't export like super long videos. But now I took advantage of me and Maddie's joint $3,000 prize purse that we managed to win at Jackalope, and I invested in a laptop, a better laptop. So now we can really take this video editing to the next level, and we can do our full days of training in one video, which is super nice. And maybe you'll notice like the camera is a bit better. I can use like my phone as like a webcam, and this is I'm living the life. I got a mic 2 set up now, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I think as the series grows and as we keep doing it more, and like we can just kind of start upping the production quality. I've got like a whole list on my phone of like ideas that I want to do with the series and like next sort of steps. And like I'm sure if you've been following since the beginning, you'll just notice like the step-by-step progress as as I'm like kind of growing as a YouTuber, I guess. Like when I first started the series, I didn't know much about video editing. I had made like a couple climbing videos in the past just for fun, but it's been fun. Like, yeah, I'm really like learning how to video edit kind of step by step, and I'm still getting better. And I think it's been a lot of fun, like learning how to kind of optimize for this series. So yeah, now we got a computer and we got a mic, and we can make longer videos and put like it's cool too, because I especially like being able to combine these videos because it gives a better context. I feel like it's easy to forget that maybe sometimes these 2 sessions happen in the same day, like if I split the video up into 2 parts. So anyway, I think it's pretty fun. So we're back here for session 2. We're still at Studio Bloc, of course, and I just hung out at the gym for a few hours, and I was feeling even better this session. And I find this is actually the case with like the first day off a rest day that usually happens, where session 2 is almost always better than session 1. You'll notice in the first session we really didn't get on any boulders with crimps, and that's just because my fingers always feel weak on the first session after like a rest week, and especially after some jet lag. So I avoided crimps pretty successfully. I was tempted by a few boulders, but like especially that first boulder we just did in the second session, when I had to like say, no way can I get on this on my first session after rest week. But yeah, now we were feeling much better in the session. I was able to try like I could try anything in the session. So you saw we did that super crumpy boulder to start with. And then, I did like a couple other 7s, like ticked them off really quick, 1 or 2 tries. And I was feeling good. I'm like, yeah, we can just start training again. It's pretty awesome. So I was going to just go around, do as many boulders as I could. We hop on the 6 here. I'd seen a video of somebody do this. I don't remember who, I think one of the setters. And I thought it looked fun, like a little toe catch. And, oh, yeah, okay, so you see, so back it up a bit. You'll notice that as I swung, my foot slipped. And on my fall, I almost smashed my face on that big white circle. I saw it before my eyes, right in front of my face. And I saw my life flash before my eyes. If you want to go see me almost die there, just rewind it a bit. It's crazy. But yeah, like I was saying, anyway, I saw somebody do this boulder on Instagram, and I thought it was like pretty cool looking, so I definitely was going to go hop on it. But I guess I wasn't paying attention to how they did the last move, because on my first couple of tries when I got up there, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go reach for the finish hold. And I look, and it's a mile away, and I'm like, how am I supposed to get there? And I almost like hurt my shoulder a bit trying to lock it off really hard. But then what I noticed is actually I had to kind of squeeze the hold with my palm and almost press off a bit more. And that's how I was able to do that. So anyway, let's talk about this boulder. So what I learned was the best way to do this move, my step-by-step process, was this. And as I mentioned this, I want to also mention, I told you I was going to forget about tip of the day. If you remember a few videos ago, I said, I'm going to start making like a note to provide like the tip of the day. This is like Maddie's recommendation. I always try to like share my experience of like climbing movement and whatnot, and like kind of help people out and help share experience. So you can add these sort of movements to your toolkit. And I wanted to start calling it the tip of the day, like to share at least one thing. Maybe I end up sharing more, but I wanted to start sharing at least one thing that you could take away from these videos every episode, like a bit of advice for like a movement or something. And Maddie said, you should call that the tip of the day. And I did it once, and I've been sharing stuff still, but I forget to call it the tip of the day, and I want to call it the tip of the day because that's fun, and it's Maddie's recommendation. So tip of the day for that blue move. This is what I learned on that process. I hang on my jugs, and it's a step-by-step process. Step 1, you kick your feet up right in front of you, kind of high up, and that gives you enough swing to do the rest of this. So you kick your feet up, you swing back, and then what you do is basically you use the next swing, the middle swing, to create a direction, to create your line. And that's what I was doing. Swing 1 is just to get the momentum going. I swing back, and then now this swing into the wall is where I create my direction that I want, my line towards the wall that I want. Because I found I was getting messed up when I would swing too much away from the wall or swing too much in. So I used the second swing to create a line, and a really good line that would help my final swing. So I create the line, and now on my way back, this is where I'm going to do the launch. And now the trick to get all the momentum you need. And it's funny, this is actually, if you remember in the Jackalope, we were able to climb together in the final round. We were split into 2 groups of 3. And I remember mentioning this to one of my new buddies that I made during that final. As we were trying this last boulder, I gave this bit of advice to him because he was struggling a bit with the first move, and I thought that this could help him because this is a similar move, of course. So the advice was to, on the last swing back when you're gearing up for the launch, the trick that I always find with this move to give me all the momentum I need for this last swing is to tip my head down. And so what this does is it almost creates your body into a full-on lever, right? So if you tip your head down, what that does is it naturally pushes your butt up and your legs up. And that is obviously going to get you more of a lever and more the kind of height with your lower body, and it will give you more swing upon the final launch. And so that's what I do is I kick my feet up, swing back, swing in to create the line that I want, and then try and remember that line. And now on the way back, I tip my head down. That gives me all the momentum. And then that's the trick to do this move. And that creates like a very nice thing that you can almost tell yourself as you're doing the move, and then you're perfectly set up for that move. Now, that being said, I discovered this kind of like halfway through trying that climb, and it still took me a lot of times to do it. And this is what I'm saying where this sort of like, this is this bit of advice that I just gave, the tip of the day, I remembered it, is something that you can use on this move. But what happens is sometimes that's not enough. And maybe that will help you, and that's going to be work for this move, but it's not always the be-all, end-all answer. In this case, it was the be-all, end-all answer. It kind of worked for this move, and you could just copy and paste this. Let's say I didn't know anything about that climb. I copy and paste this tool, insert into Zach trying this boulder, it would work. But there's one thing I had to add at the end, which is very subtle. And so basically, it goes to show that you need to take your tool, but there might still be like specific things about a specific boulder that you need to elaborate on to help that tool thrive. And so what I needed to elaborate on that boulder was, basically I found that I was hitting the holds at the wrong angle, because obviously I'm kind of transitioning from angle to angle. And so I kept hitting them almost like face the wrong way. And I kept noticing I was hitting my shoulder against the wall as well sometimes, which would cause me to fall. And so the last little optimization I needed to make for this move, and I stuck it immediately as I thought this to myself, I should try this. I went on and I sent the boulder right away. So it's also very hard to see. So yeah, like I tried to watch myself in the video to see if it was evident, and it wasn't really. Anyway, I've been hyping this up for so long. Let me just say what it is. I need a twist. At the very last second, as soon as my foot hits a foothold, I twist my body so that I'm square with the wall, and then all of a sudden I'm hitting the holes in the right position. Because early on, I went and I ran up and like did a jump start off that foot and just jumped into the holds and I held it. So it's not that the holds are too bad, it's that I was hitting them on the wrong angle. And as soon as I thought to myself, I need to just kind of turn to be more square with the wall, I stuck it right away. So basically, yeah, you can take my copy and paste like step-by-step process to do that move and insert it and it will work, but you might need to add on like other tiny little things. And in this specific instance on this boulder, I needed to add like that little bit of adding a twist so that I could hold these holes better together. And that boulder was super cool. That was I had a great time working that boulder and I learned a lot. And that's like I've mentioned is the case with the boulders at Bloc here. So many different styles, and I learned a lot while I'm climbing. Anyway, you saw in the middle of that explanation, we did a bunch of other boulders, some 7s and 6s. Great session. This is the one boulder that stumped me in the day. There was another boulder on the outdoor wall that I didn't try that was kind of like physical crimping. Looked pretty doable. I never got around to it though. But this slab is crazy. Like I worked it for like the last 10 minutes of my session. Absolutely like couldn't do like a single move basically. I don't know. I was like, is this even possible? I'm sure like some sort of slab god can do it, and maybe on one of our upcoming boulder sessions we'll like work this one super in depth and see if we can put it together. But like there's no way I could do that in 10 minutes. So that wrapped up today's day of training, 2 boulder sessions. Tomorrow we're going to Boulderville for our campus session and our workout, and we have a couple new exercises that we're going to be adding into this hangboard routine and workout, so you should definitely tune in to tomorrow's episode and check them out.